this is the biggest issue plaguing Overwatch right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Stylosa and this is Unit Lost, and let's talk about crime and punishment. How the game deals with toxic players, because, well, quite frankly, it doesn't deal with them. So what I want you guys to do before we begin is comment below with the bracket that you're in. So if you're in Diamond, Gold, Platinum, whatever, comment with that. Tell me how often you think you come across a toxic player, and tell me what you think makes up a toxic player. Like, why was that person toxic? Tell me this in the comments below. Now, because my experience is in this season relates to Master only, really, and it has been a very trying season so far. In Season 2, I would say that I was coming across a toxic player 1 in every 20 games, if that, right? Hand over heart, I can say that's honestly when I was coming over a toxic player. And to me, a toxic player is somebody who wants to be a troll. So maybe they pick Torbjorn on attack, but not just that, not just like, oh no, it's Torbjorn on attack, it's not going to work, because it can sometimes, but then they build their turret in the spawn and then they teabag their turret for the rest of the game. Or they select Junkrat and just jump off the map over and over again. Or they just make it their mission to just shout abuse at the team, and then when people mute them, they keep typing into the chat or whatever, and just being a general sort of toxic player, a bad influence on the team that really doesn't want to win, and that is not working together for the win. That would be a toxic player to me. So, what can the game do about this? Well, the game has tried to combat this in the past, and there has been a lot of issues with this because it had the rate a player system. Now, what that did is it gave you the option to rate a player. Did you like this player? Did you dislike this player? If enough people disliked a player, then that player literally had nobody to play with. And I think there was a very famous Widow at the time who everybody was disliking because all this person did was play Widow non-stop. And at the time, it was like, we don't want a Widow on our team because maybe there were other heroes that could work. The Widow can still work, but it doesn't really matter, right? It's an off-meta hero. So a lot of people would be like, no, I don't want this person in my team. And then they would say, I dislike this player. What happened is to that player, through no fault of that player's own really, they would sit in the queue for like an hour just trying to find a game because literally most of the population at their level just didn't want to play with them. That's not fair, right? And Blizzard understand that's not fair. But here's the thing, right? Is it fair? Because if that person's playing Widow non-stop, there are maps where Widow is not that great. It would be like if you were playing Symmetra non-stop. It's the same sort of thing, right? Although you could argue Widow is a little bit more effective. But in that case, is that really a toxic player? Think about what Overwatch is. Overwatch is a game. It's a game that you play to have fun in, right? Now, if Blizzard give you the option to tell somebody that they are not having fun or you don't want them to have fun because they're playing a hero in the game that they've designed, then in Blizzard's eyes, that's bad design. And I can kind of agree with that. It is kind of bad design, right? Because in the Widow example, Widow can work in a lot of cases. But if that player just keeps playing Widow and doesn't want to swap and is not talking to the team, then maybe there would be grounds to sort of report this player. But it's not like that player is being bad or toxic. Okay, in the sense of somebody shouting actual like racist abuse over the microphone or being very aggressive or abusive to your team. That is toxicity. What that other player is doing is not being flexible, which can be can be construed as toxicity. You can see that as toxicity and think, all right, this player is toxic and report them. But is that really toxicity? This is the big problem that Blizzard have got, and this is what makes it pretty much impossible to deal with this. Now, I want to state a fact because this is just a fact, right? Any team-based game, whether it's Dota, whether it's League, whether it's CSGO, it relies on the whole team playing together. In Overwatch, it's exactly the same. You cannot play a 5v6, you will lose, right? And it would be a 5v6 if a player on your team is teabagging his Torbjorn turret in spawn. That's a 5v6. What is going on, right? That player clearly doesn't want to play, but has for some reason joined the game with the intention of messing it up for other people. This is where I've got an issue. This is where I want these players dealt with. But working out who these players are and dealing with them fast, this is the issue. Because Blizzard want you to keep playing the game. They don't want to just ban you from the game straight away. The only time they ban you from the game is if you're caught hacking. Now, if you're being toxic, they give you a lot of chance. And I think they are very, very lenient. Because the system we've got right now is you can write a report. So I don't think I've seen anyone actually punished from a report. I'm reporting people all the time. Like I said, literally 4 in 10 games now do have some form of bad player. It will be like a racist player, it will be somebody just being aggressive, somebody making really stupid moves on purpose. You know, I'm not talking people who've made a mistake, because we all make mistakes. I'm talking about people who throw the game and do it intentionally and then shout abuse at the team. I'll report these people, and like I said, unfortunately, more often than not, it's because of racism I'm reporting these people, and I'll see them in another game and I'm like, great, what is going on? I've got a list of names. I'm not going to say them because like I said before, I don't want to publicly shame these people, although sometimes I do really think like I should, because it's the only way that they're actually going to learn, because the game is not really punishing them. But they just continue to just act the way they were. And it is just absolutely, utterly insane. And I don't know what is going on with this game. I don't know why people are doing it. But actually, I do kind of know why people are doing it, because it's a team game. And this is the big bloody problem with Overwatch. With there being no punishment for you being a dickhead, you can be a dickhead. You can go into a game and be aggressive. You can go into a game and just shout. I mean, I could go into a game right now and be very aggressive to my team, knowing full well that I could just continue to play all day. There's nothing's going to come from that. Nobody's going to care. There might be a report that comes in, Stylosa's been a nasty boy, but I'll be given a chance. In fact, the only thing that will punish you right now in competitive is if you repeatedly leave games. It will ban you from the season. But you have to leave quite a few for that to happen. And who the hell leaves competitive games? If somebody wants to leave a game, you know what they do. I know what they do. They stand in spawn AFK, or jump off Volskaya repeatedly, or be aggressive to the team so you lose quicker. That's what they do. And it's crazy. And we need to work out a system of dealing with these people, because the game just doesn't deal with them right now. And I don't know why there is such a high percentage of these players where I'm playing the game. Because if you look at me and the way I play the game, I don't play it solo queue that often. This is just because my friends are online basically all day because I've got no life. So I would play online with them. Now, you could probably say, because I'm playing with people, it reduces my risk of actually being grouped with a toxic player, and that makes sense, right? In Season 2, I very rarely seen toxic players, 1 in 20 games. Now, though, in Season 3, I'm seeing them all the time, and I don't know what the hell is going on. I'm still in the double, the triple stack, or even sometimes a 4-man stack. I have never played solo queue this season at all. I just haven't, because all my friends are always online, like I just said, right? So I'm going to play with them. You can't hate me for that. It's just how it is. The biggest issue is, though, these toxic players, there is no punishment for them. There is, right now in this game, there is no punishment for a toxic player. If somebody is racist, they should be instantly banned from the game forever. I don't care. I've had people type in very detailed anti-Semitic views into the chat. I don't care who you are, right? You get banned forever, right? If you be racist, you get banned forever. If you call somebody a wanker or fuck you, mate, you don't get banned for that, because that's just a bit of blowing off steam, right? But if you do it in 10 games, you get banned, right? This is what needs to happen, and I don't understand why they would rather have players in this game who are toxic and basically piss everybody else off just so they can keep playing the game. Like, there has to be a point where these people get cut off, right? I don't know how many times you need to be reported right now in the current system for them to even take action. I bet you when you receive one report, they don't even look at it. I'd be very surprised if they do, because you can imagine the volume of reports going in. It's going to be high, right? So they're only going to look if the same name gets reported a number of times, right? Which, you know, how many, I'm no mathematician, I'm no statistician, right? But if you take one toxic player and he's in a game and he's been very toxic and he gets reported by the team, then he goes into another game and he's very toxic against somebody and gets reported again. And then he plays a few decent games. Then he comes back and plays toxic. You know, this person is going around being toxic in some games and not in other games. But when he's toxic in a game, it spreads to other players, and then they join another game and they're feeling already a bit tilted because they're like, I've just lost this game. So they're trying to win much harder, which again is, you know what? This is another conspiracy theory, which I don't have proof of this and I don't have evidence, but sometimes it can very much feel like you are being put on a team with other people who are on losing streaks, which is very, very weird. Because if I've lost like a couple of games on the trot, I'll go into the voice chat and I'll be like, hey guys, how's it going? And I'll be the response I'll get is, oh, it's going bad. I've just lost the last 4 games. And I'm like, yeah, so have I. And then somebody else is like, yeah, so have I. There was a game I was in where 4 people were like, yeah, I'm on a 4-game losing streak. 4 people in the same game had lost 4 games, according to what they said. Now, it might not be true, but I don't know why you would lie about that. I mean, what? That seems a bit unbelievable. You know, why put these players together? Maybe the system, the matchmaker, has some sort of a thing in it. Like, oh, if you're on a losing streak, if we put the losing players together, they'll sort of band together and win. I don't know. It's weird. It's really, really weird. That might not be happening, though. That's just a bit of conspiracy theory madness from me. But the fact is, there is no punishment right now. We need a better system for punishing players. To use the word punishment with a game does sound a bit harsh, right? Because it's a game and people play it for fun. I do firmly believe that punishing a person for maining a character is not the way to do it. I know why you would maybe want these people punished, because I can fully understand that. Because if I've got a Widow main on my team and we're playing on Nepal, I'm not going to be too happy, right? It's a bloody control point map. Widow is not going to be too great. It can still kind of work, and it's okay. Generally, what I do is if I see somebody lock Widow in, I look at their profile, and if they've got like hundreds of hours on Widow, I'll be like, oh, cool, we've got a Widow main, this is going to be awesome. And I try and encourage them, right? Then if they're not having a great game, and they don't swap, and then they keep playing Widow, that's when you have an issue, because the team will be like, can you swap the Widow? And the Widow won't reply, or the Widow will say no, and they'll go, no, we need to swap the Widow, you're not doing anything. Lucio pipes up and says, look, I'm silver damage, what the hell is going on? Or something like that. That's when the team starts falling apart, and that's when it's very difficult to convict that player almost of being toxic, because is that player really being toxic? Because all it's doing is what the game allows it to do, and that's play one character, and that's all they want to do. That's a problem. That issue is going to be, it's going to take a very clever mind to work that out, how you deal with that. And I don't think, to be honest, it'll ever be worked out. My issue, though, and I just want to clarify this at the very end of this video, again, just in case you haven't got my point, is those players who intentionally throw games, who are very toxic, who are racist, who are very aggressive and abusive. They need to be dealt with quick. You don't give them chances. You don't let them keep coming back into the game, because they ruin the game. If I am playing this game, and I play the game a lot, right, and I'm going into games now, and you're pretty much guaranteed that you've got like a 30 or 40% chance that in this game there will be somebody who is toxic. That's making me not want to play competitive, and that's not right, and it needs to be addressed. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said at the start of this video, do comment below with your experience of this. Tell me what tier you're in. Tell me how often you see toxic players and what you think is a toxic player. Then I also want to know, how do you think Blizzard could deal with this? Because we might get some interesting comments below, or ideas. Alright guys, I've been Stylosa, this is Unit Lost, and we've covered a pretty heavy subject just. This is the issue of crime and punishment in Overwatch. You can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Toodaloo.